Manuel Abaka, please mute your mic. No question. All right. Yeah, the capstone project is individual. So the idea behind the grouping is to foster collaborations, right? So if there's an area you are having issue with, you can reach out to the person in the same group with you to get more clarifications. So it is individual based. And also the frameworks there we have, some projects have Next.js, some have Tailwind. So all those are, I think I've talked about the Next.js framework, but I'm not sure I've really thought it out, like, discuss in details how to go about it. But yeah, it's also a framework. You can either use Vite or use Next.js. So why I just left it there is for us to, like, try and research on it, right, and see how to set it up. But then you can still go ahead and use Vite, right, to set up your project, and we'll, continue working on it. And then for the Tailwind CSS is a CSS library, right? You can, like, if you don't want to, if you want to, like, minimize the rate of styles you write on the CSS files, you can use Tailwind library, right? A package. So there's more to it, right? It's just like a brief intro on what Tailwind does, right? But then you can still do without Tailwind. It's not a must. You can still do without Tailwind. Go ahead and write your styles on your CSS files and then, do everything. But yeah, so how do we go about the chat.js? Right, there is a chat library. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Let me share my screen. I don't know if you can see my screen. Give me something trip off. All right. Share my screen again. Enter the screen. Yep. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. So there is a chat library. We say React.chat. Let's just say React chat. I think that's the name of the package. That is not the package. Okay, attend is it. Yeah, there's the package. So for representing chat in your React app, right? We know the common chats, right? The bar chats, pie charts, and line charts, and every other thing, right? So this is mostly used when you're presenting a data, okay? And if you want to, like, set up something like this in your React app, so there are libraries that you can use, and one of the popular one is React Charts JS, then 2. This particular one is popular. So you can probably read about how to go about it. Just make a YouTube video on React Chat.js. They should be able to give you more context on how to go about it, right? And to even find documentation about this, it is where is that chat? Yeah, this is it here. I think you can even navigate it from here. But this is the real documentation. Chat.js, getting started, installation. this see the bar charts. So to write bar charts, you need to write it like this, right? Do some import and all that. Yeah, there is more to it, right? There is more to it. Another library is reshart. There's reshart. This is documentation, and this is the package here. Reshart, this one has 3 million downloads, so it is more popular than React Chart. But for me personally, the one I use is this. Then this, the documentation alone. So yeah, you can use any of this. You can also research on other chart packages that we have. And if you're having any issue, just reach out to me. But if you're asking for a particular one to use, I'll advise you go for Reshart. But then when you read up on React JS2, if that one is more simpler to you, please go ahead. Then please, can we make the project front-end based or full stack? Make the project front-end based. I advise you just go ahead, implement the UI first, right? Yeah, there is a part of it where you still need to integrate API or integrate external packages like Firebase and all that. But for a start, I think you should have that in mind, but then focus on the UI implementation. So the idea is any topic you're given, go to just search for a design on that topic, right? See if you can get any design out there that's related to topic that's related to that topic, then go ahead and implement it. So for okay, this is very short. For looking for designs, I think I've talked about it. If I'm looking for designs, I go to Dribble. Can go to Dribble, then search design you're looking for. Probably you are doing a healthcare app. Healthcare, let me search healthcare web app. So discover the world's top designers, yeah. I'm also project. So you just search healthcare web app, right? You'll see some designs, right? These are like extensively complex, but you can look at the simple ones here. Not really simple, but at least the one that resonates with the topic and how you want to approach the project. You can also use Behance to search for designs. So to search, just type, let's say healthcare web app. I search web app showing. Yeah, so there are some. This must not be a web app, it can also be a website, depending on how you want to do design. This is more complex. You can just, it's not more you're going to do carbon copy of what the design says. Just pick the sections that you think will represent perfectly what you are trying to implement. So make it front end for now. I don't know if that answer your question, Manuel. Just focus on the front end part, implement the UI, design the sections and everything. If you're having any issue, reach out to your group members or just reach out to me. Plus, if you're doing API call, we would need a database. So are we automatically doing the backend for this project? That's why I said you should focus on the front end first, right? I mean, the idea is to, when you're done on the front end, you can look for a public API. It's not, you're not going to build any backend. No, you're not building any backend for this project. You're just going to look for an already existing public API that you can easily integrate just to display the information for you. So if you want to look for public APIs, you can go to, I don't know if you guys are taking this thing down. You can go to Rapid API. Please, if this is looking overwhelming, don't allow it to discourage you not to even do the UI part. No, just focus on the UI part. Get that one out of the way. Then when you are getting to a more complex part of it, let me know. I can even allow us to schedule a meeting, look through your project, then address your issues. So this is Rapid API, right? You can, how do we go about get started? So you can search for any API, right? Like any API entirely. And most of them are free. Some are paid actually, but some are free. So you just focus on the one that are free, right? Let's say I'm looking for, all right, we even have categories here: cybersecurity, cryptography, jobs. Okay, let's say I'm looking for APIs related to jobs. I'll click on jobs. Let's see active jobs, job search, LinkedIn job search, jobs API, Upwork jobs, all those things. So let me click on the first one. Yeah, you'll see this is the link to hit, so you can have access to this API. You can see the link here. By zoom in. Yeah, this is the link here. Example response. When you hit this endpoint, this is what you're going to get. So you can look through these keys and see if any of them is. If, in fact, if you get to this stage, let me know. I'll find time then. We'll walk you through how to go about setting it up. And these are the available endpoints that you can access. Get jobs 7 days, probably the jobs that were posted 7 days ago, right? Get jobs 24 hours. So get jobs hourly, get jobs, get expired jobs. So let me click on get jobs 7 days. You can to get this thing clearly, yeah, just change the shell to look for JavaScript because that's the one. I just click on JavaScript. It will give you more details on how to go about it. If you click target JavaScript, then target, if you want to use Axios, you can target Axios. If you want to use fetch, the one I talked about in the previous class, you can target, just click on fetch. You see the URL, this is the URL to hit. This is your options. In fact, once you click on anyone you want to use, just copy everything here, right? But make sure that the the fetch part, you are putting it inside the use effect. Inside the use effect. And if you have any issue, let me know. So this is for getting job 7 days ago. What is different? I want to see. There's actually sign up key. So you even need to sign up. When you sign up, you're going to have a key assigned to you. So that's the key you have to insert here. Then getting jobs 24 hours. What changes in this URL? Active ATS 24 hours. I think these are the things that change. When you look through within the URL, you see the endpoints that are dynamically changing according to whichever tab you click. But this is just for jobs, so you can search for any other category that you want to, if that pertains to your work or anything. So that's for the API part. But then please focus on the UI. I'll be more satisfied if you did a good job on the UI, but then the probably when the API part reaches, we'll not say how to go about it. But focus on the UI, implement it out first. Then API will come later. All right. So Nafisat, you have your hand raised.
Good evening, Mr. John.
Good evening.
Yeah, I want to ask concerning Firebase because I'm
All
using
right.
Firebase for my project. Now, I for my sign up, it's working fine, oh, but when I try to implement this upload image on my Firebase, I don't have I'm not permitted to use a free storage. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I'm not permitted to use a free storage. So I watched the tutorial that say I should go through a Cloudinary and all that. So I tried it, but it's not working for me. I don't know. I don't know if I can remove the upload image aspects.
Yeah, you can comment it out. I mean, it is. I think there is a free.
You know, you know,
Uh,
you know, sorry to cut you short. I want it in a way that maybe after signing up, then the person's profile, the a person's
image.
image, yes, but it's not working. So I don't know. What will you advise me to do?
Uh, I'm not going to lie to you. I have the Firebase part, right? You know what? I'll
Everything
check
is
on that.
working fine. Everything is working fine for the Firebase. I just have issue with uploading picture and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably can you give me more details on that on Slack here? I would like to look through the code implementation and then how you set up your Firebase. Then let's see if
Okay,
there's a
okay,
hook. You guys are scaring
okay.
me. Oh. See,
But
Miriam said using MongoDB. What is happening?
for Mr. John, oh, see, I want to ask for the time frame. Fine, we've been able to get through some aspect of the project and all that, but the time frame, and we should consider the situation of Nigeria. Like me now, throughout today, no system throughout today. My system is off because my area is 1 day off, like 2 days off, 2 days on. So it's really affecting me too. And we are given 7 days to submit. And this project is, how will I put it? It's not what someone can build in a week and all that. So I don't know if there will be permission for time extension.
I think I will just they might, right? They might because obviously I can see that yeah there are some restrictions when it comes to um yeah there might, let me not stress it, there might, but I'll just focus on doing the ones you can do when you can do it, and every opportunity that you have, just do what you can do so that even if there is no time extension, you have something to deliver. But when there is now time extension, you still it still favors you, right? You have more time to do other things and then add other things you want
Okay.
to add. So
Okay.
are you saying you're done with the UI implementation?
I'm not fully done, Sha. I'm not fully done. When the assignment was given, I just had to go and watch tutorial on Firebase to get more knowledge on it.
Is it your first
So
time using Firebase?
yes, my first time using Firebase. Though I've tried it before, but I didn't really get it. But I just had to go back to it to watch videos all over again.
All right, you have to brag about that actually. So what I think this particular project or capstone project that you're doing, what the favor that is going to add to your career is just having a project that you have done. I don't know how to say. I don't know what to say if it's an early, early age or early in your career, having a project as versatile and also as solid as this early. And when you do things like this, post it, right? Post it on LinkedIn,
Yes.
post it on Twitter. You might not see the response. You might not see those likes. You might not see, you're not even looking for likes. Just post it as if you're documenting your progress, right? Then after a year or two, just look back, you see your progress. So even if you have a client coming to your DM, they don't even need to come. Your what you posted might just pop up on their feed. And what you posted might be exactly what they are looking for in a developer. That gives you how will I say, a heads up. So anything you are doing, any milestone you are at this career, whether this capstone project or any other thing you are doing related to front-end development, try and document it online. It will help you. I wish someone gave me that advice when I was starting, right? But I now know the advantage of it, so I'm telling you guys. So yeah.
So when should I share my code? Maybe when the light is restored, I should just share my GitHub link, right? Or we'll go on a video call.
Share it when you can.
All
Share it when
right.
you can.
Thank you.
I will not have time within the day to look at them.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jairus. Jairus.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Jairus.
So I'm having some problem with the creating for the cat thing.
The capstone, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about creating a cat.
Okay, creating accounts
A cat,
with Card,
For the yeah.
like a card.
No, like let's say it will be a collection of the things that they have picked. They store in the
Oh,
card
okay.
for
Like creating a cart, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that an issue, or you're just bringing it up? Like, what's the context around it?
I'm not getting the concept.
Okay, you want to know how to create a cart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we can shoot up something. All right, well, let me just give you how to go about it, right? Well, my status shoot up when we enter the class for today. So okay, you select something, right? And then when you go to your cart, you're going to see what you selected in your cart, right? It's just like you have a state manager using use states, and that use state contains by default it doesn't have anything. Just you can call that use state your cart, right? Then wherever you are, anytime you click on a particular, let's say you click on add to cart, it's going to carry that information and then add it on that state. So each one you click is going to carry the whole information, the details about that information, the ID, and then add it to cart. Then probably you might have another icon, a cart icon, right? Somewhere at the top right of the application. So you now listen to the length of items inside the cart, because the cart obviously is going to be an array, right? It's going to contain multiple things. So it's going to be an array by default. So you're not going to listen to the length of that cart and be displaying to the user. So if the user adds one more item inside that cart, it's going to increase the number by one, or however number the persons have clicked, right, to cart. So you just have a use state. You remember how to declare a use state, right? You have a use state, cart, set cart, right? Empty array by default. Then you have a list of your items. Let's say a list of most times we are going to see this castings in e-commerce platforms. You're going to click a particular, let's say you are in a platform that sells phones, right, or gadgets. You're going to click this particular phone, iPhone so and so, add to cart. Then Samsung so and so, add to cart. So each one you click, you're just going to carry the information and push inside the cart state. So, but if you want to do it globally, there is a Redux there. So I don't know if, yeah, I kind of I kind of allowed some libraries that we have not heard of. It's intentional. I want us to go beyond what we have done, right? Just stretch our knowledge on, okay, how we can easily transition from these so things we have done into some other areas and some other libraries that will help you in building a full-blown application. So Redux is also a state manager, and Redux will serve well if you're doing something like this app to cart, right? So it is a state manager. I think I will just, yeah, it's a JS library for predictable and maintainable global state management. So this, if you're using use state, right? If use state is only available in that component you're using it. It's not globally available, right? That platform that I created, where is that? Where is that guy again? Yeah, you can see this use state here. I need to zoom in. Can see this use state here, right? This use state is only accessible inside this app component. That's this component that I created. The name of this component is app, right? So this is only accessible here. So if I want to access these set names from another component, or this value, any of the, let's say I want to access value from other components, I will have to make the components available inside this place and then pass it down as a props. Then go to that component again and cache it. All those things, like, and receive it from that props space. So those things, like, you might end up seeing yourself doing prop drilling. There's what we call prop drilling. You have a component that needs a state, right? You are passing that state as a props, which is what we are doing here already. You can see that we have value here as a state. Then we pass the value as a props into this input component. Now inside this input component, if I go to input component, this input component, I'm accepting the value here, and then I'm passing the value down to input. Now let's say, for example, I have other components here. Yeah, and this component also needs input, also needs value. I'll pass the value down again. Let's say it needs value, I'll pass the value down again, and then go inside the component, receive the value, do whatever I want to do. You just see yourself drilling prop from child component to another child component to another child component to another child component. So, but with Redux, it's going to help you manage that state globally. So with Redux, any state you declare in Redux, using Redux, you can access it from anywhere you are, even if that component is not in the same um, component where you declared it, where the state is being set. You can access it from another place entirely. I might be setting it up in this class if the topics I have to discuss allows it, right? Like if after we are done, it allows it, I can still go ahead and do this Redux, or I can create another tab, because today was supposed to be my last class, but then if you guys need me, we can schedule another class and then talk about some topics that you need to be brushed up, probably libraries like Redux and Tailwind CSS and every other thing, right? So, but yeah, I think I'll just do a demo of that add to carts when I'm implementing something like this. So, Jairus, for me to give you more detailed explanation on how to go about it, we need to like implement it out. So if you wait through the class and we have extra time by the ending, I can go ahead and do something like that so we can see it in action. Okay. So Redux. Aside Redux for state management, we have other ones, right? Don't only feel like Redux. In fact, when it comes to React, there is just a lot of packages to do. Anything you want to do, there's a lot of packages that will do that for you. Just like we are talking about charts now, we see that React Chart JS2 can do it. We also figured that Ray Chart can do it. There are other chart libraries too that can, still do the same thing. But then the only difference is that for each particular package, there is a different approach on how to go about it. So just like we're talking about state management now, there's Redux, there's another one, Zustand. There is also Zustand. Yeah, Zustand is more fast scalable, bare bones state management solution. You can read it out here. So if you re-choose Zustand and you think you prefer Zustand to Redux, it's fine. But I think two of them, they both have where this particular one is better off. If you are building a very, very big application, I think Redux is the best tool to use. But if it's just a lightweight application, you can use Zustand. I mean, Zustand can still come in for big applications. But so far, with my experience, heavy applications, like I'll just go ahead with Redux because it's more scalable. So yeah. So remember Rapid API for looking for public APIs, right? Anyone that resonates with what you're trying to build. So I need to reduce this. So today I wanted to cover off for the last class that I missed. We didn't have class on Saturday. So let's quickly talk about one or two things just to, All right. So first is, if you notice, we have been building our Vite application with JavaScript. Obviously, it's a JavaScript library, right? Yeah, but we have been doing it based on JS, right? And I told us that we can actually use another extension to this aside JS, which is TypeScript. And yes, I have mentioned TypeScript earlier, and there's no difference. There's a difference between TypeScript and JavaScript, but then there's not much difference because it is the same thing, right? So when you hear TypeScript, I need to create. Oh, let me create another folder here. Oh, no, not folder. Okay, yeah, let me just create a file. So let's say I have a, oh, I don't know, not, this is just me noting down something, so nothing much. So we're talking about TypeScript, right? Okay, so what is TypeScript? So TypeScript is JavaScript with added syntax for types, right? If you remember when we talked about data types in JavaScript, we talked about how to express strings or represent strings. We talked about numbers. We talked about arrays. We talked about objects. Talked about functions. So, right? All those things are data types. Function is probably like a data type under object. Yeah. But then we have objects, we have array, we have string, we have number. There are more, right? But with TypeScript, we'll be able to represent each of these things and give them what they are. Now, if you're writing a JavaScript, let me just write down something here. So this is what TypeScript is, right? TypeScript is what? JavaScript. It's just JavaScript with, what am I doing? Yeah. It's just JavaScript with added syntax for types. Okay. So if I have a JavaScript file, this is JavaScript file, and this JavaScript file can be, let me say, demo.js. This is how to represent JavaScript files, right? JS, JavaScript. Now I declare a variable using the constant keyword. And I say this variable is full name, okay, equals to John Doe, okay? All right. Full name is John Doe. Now, if I hover on full name, you're just going to see John Doe here. Yeah, because JavaScript is not really showing you the type, what it is. You are just seeing it because it started with a string and then with a string. That's the only way you know that this is a string. But with TypeScript, it is very strict. It's going to tell you that this is a string you are writing. This is a number that you're writing. This is an array that you're writing. This is also an object that you're writing, right? So if I want to do something like this in TypeScript, this is how it's going to be. Let me create another file called demo.ts. This is how to represent TypeScript. TS means TypeScript. Okay. Now I want to write something like this. I'll just copy it. Let me just write it out. Okay, so we can see the build up process. Const full name equals to John Doe. Cannot redeclare blocked scope variable. Where is this coming from? Wait, is it because I have this? Let me just remove this and see. Wow. Okay. Let me just comment this stuff for now. So you can see this is full name, right? Why is this not happening? It's supposed to show me the type beside it. Now the type of this full name is a string. Now with TypeScript, it gives you room to go ahead and write types for a particular variable that I declared. I think I will just go ahead and implement, just do something so we can see it in action, how it's been done. So I can just say, this is how to declare a type for a particular variable. Just start with the keyword type. All right. You will now say, just start it with any name that is not full name. It's full name, but probably different in convention. You can say full name type, okay, equals to string. You can see I wrote type full name type is equals to a string. Now, if I copy this type now, for me to tell this full name that anything that I'm writing here should be a string. If I copy this full name, this type that I declared here, after the full name, the way I declared it, right? Put a colon, then put the type. That's all. So I'm now saying full name is of type of this full name, and whatever type I give it is a string bar, right? And then, yeah, so whatever I'm writing is going to be a string. This, I think this is even long. I can actually go ahead and replace, say, just type string here. That's all, instead of doing all these things. But I'm just, this will come in handy because most of the times you're going to be writing your types like this. So I'm now saying full name, I declare a constant full name, and I'm saying that the type of this full name is what? A string. Okay. And I say equals to John Doe. I'm writing a string. So if I write any other thing, if I set it to any other thing aside a string, it's going to cry. It's going to shout. That's why TypeScript is widely used, because it corrects you while you're developing. Now, if I change this John Doe to any other thing that is not a string, let's use a number, for example. I can say 50. You see there's an error. If I hover on that error, what does it say? Type number is not assignable to type string. See that, right? Because I told TypeScript that this constant should be a string. So anything I'm setting it is going to be a string. If I set it to any other thing, it's going to cry. So that's why it's shouting, because I set it outside the, I set the value outside the original type that I declared. If I use objects, it's still going to cry. Then if you hover, it will tell you type of this is not assignable to type string. So this, the only thing I can type here is what? A string. The only thing I can type here is string. The error is gone. Can see that. So I can now say and create another constant. Say age equals to 50, right? Age is 50. And for me to type this particular variable that I just created, I'm going to, before that name, colon, then I'm going to set it to number, because obviously age is going to be number. Now, if I type another thing here, aside number, it's going to cry. If I type a string, let me say string 30, it's going to cry, because string 30 and just 30 is not the same thing. String 30 is a string type of of 30, then normal 30 is just a number type of 30. If I hover, it's going to tell you type string is not assignable to type number. So which means it's expecting a number, but I'm giving it a string. So this is just the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript. There's more to it. It's just like the basic. There's more to it. And we have age, we have number. Now, if I make this a let keyword, probably I want to change this later. I can make it a let keyword. Remember, with the let keyword, you can, go ahead and modify it later. So after, I can say age equals to 31. It's going to work. But if I reset it to any other thing aside a number, it's going to cry out, because it's telling me that the original type is number and I'm trying to set it to something that is not number, so it's going to cry. Now, if I try to put a string here, let me just type 30, or just let's say 40. It's going to cry because the type of age is a number, but I'm setting it to a string. So to understand TypeScript very well, you need to understand the data types and the conventions, how to represent them. So if you understand all the data types, TypeScript will really not be a big area to jump into. And it's even better to use TypeScript, because if I'm doing all these things, if I make all these errors here, JavaScript will not even tell me that I'm doing something wrong. Okay, let me comment out this age I have here. Go back here. I'm in JavaScript now. I can have constant age. I set age to 40, right? This is fine. Then, because I want to, go away. What is this? I'll change this to let, right? I want to change it later. After, I will now say age is equals to, open and close a string, 50. You can see JavaScript doesn't care what you're doing. Like it doesn't care whether you're changing the original type or anything. Just allows it, right? You can see the original type for age is 40, just 40, which is a number. And then I'm not setting it to 50, but a string of 50. And it's not even crying. It's not telling us anything. So to strictly type your variables, you use TypeScript. And it's widely recognized. It's widely recommended to use TypeScript. I'll comment this out. Okay. So here you can actually go ahead and declare. This is how to declare the type. Probably you don't want to write the type really inline, right? You can still go ahead and write the type outside. But to write type keyword, you start it with type. That's the keyword, right? To write type. Then write the name of the type, then set it to a string. Then instead of now having a string here, I can have full name type. And full name type is a string. I can also have age type. Let me say type age, capital H, then age type is equals to number. Okay. So here, instead of having number here, I'll just put this. Okay. So yeah, this is how to represent arrays. Sorry, represent string and numbers with type. Now there's, oh, let me change this back. I'll still have, sorry, I'll still have type age type equals to number. I'll just comment these guys out. Now you can have sorry, you can also have, let's say, constant role equals to admin. Okay, so this is a way to like represent multiple options or multiple types for a particular variable. So we have row admin, and then obviously row admin is a string, right? But then we want to put a restriction on our code that this row cannot be any other thing apart from admin or super admin or who will I use? I think I'll just use filming concept. Let's say director or producer or cast or any other thing, right? Let's say by default it's director. But this director role can also be, I will just comment out something. Role can also be producer, right? And role can also be, oh God, role can also be actor, okay? Now let me just use this trick for now. So you have, let's say you're collecting a list of a crew, a filming crew, right? And each of the filming crew, we have two things, the name and the role. Now let's say we have done for the name part. Then when it comes to the role can only be three things. It can either be director, producer, or actor. Okay. Now there's a way to type this. So you just come to the role part of it here. You just say, no, I think I will write this. Okay, let me just write it here first so we can say. Now you can also write a string when you're declaring types. Put a string, open and close. The first one is director. Currently, just this way, it is I'm telling this particular variable that the value that I can only assume is director currently. Okay, so if I put any other thing aside director here, he's going to shout. If I come here and remove the T here, he's going to start crying because director is not a type for this particular variable. What I have here is director, but I gave it the value of director. So to expand this, I can use or. Remember how to represent or when we did JavaScript. Or is double this standing slash, right? I don't know how to say this, but then and is double and. This is when you are doing JavaScript operations, JavaScript logics. right? But when it comes to TypeScript, like if you are typing within types, right? If you are doing type declaration, it's going to be still this, but it's going to be one. Instead of two, it's going to be one. The same thing for and is going to be one. Okay. I'm not sure you'll be using and, but then let's see. Yeah, you will. Sorry, you will be using and here. So for me to do this, I can say director. After director, I can have or just one standing slash. What's the name for this key? Then it can also be producer. Sorry, producer. Uh, uh. Then it can also be actor. With this, I have put a restriction in the code. So any developer that is working on this, they cannot assign anything to the role aside director, producer, or actor. Remember where the type ended. Remember where the assignment started, right? This is where the assignment is. Like you're assigning director to this. And to dress types, you use the colon after the variable name. Now I can actually declare this outside because it is long. I would like to declare it outside, right? So I can declare it outside. I'll say type. But this is a union actually. It's actually a union in TypeScript. Union is how to like unite multiple types together. Okay. But this one is using or, which is this. So for me to declare this out, I can say type row type equals to. So I'll just copy everything I have here. Just cut it out, then paste it here. Then copy this row. I will now assign it as a type to this. So you can see the first thing I did is to declare a type for this row. I declared a type. I gave it row type as the variable name. And then I say that this row type can either be director or producer or actor. Now, if I assign this row, because I've given it this here, any other thing aside this is going to cry. I can write actor, nothing will happen. It's fine. I can write producer, it's fine. But then if I put screenwriter or like yeah, screenwriter, it will cry out because screenwriter is not part of the union for the role type. Okay, so then that's how to unionize different types. Then to type objects, this is how to type objects. I mean, all these things are mostly how the value is going to be. That's how you're going to write the type. So if you have an object, typing objects. Type objects. Okay, and you have an object constant, and this object is person. This person is equals to an object, right? Object that has inside this object will have the name of the person, John. I think I'll just finish this. Okay. You have the name of the person, John. You have the age, 30. You have role, actor, right? This is just a person. Now, if I want to type this particular person, like type this particular variable name, I'm just going to create a type, okay, as usual, person type, then equals to, I'm going to start it with an object because what I'm assigning it to is an object. So remember the object initiation, how to like set up an object is the curly braces. So here I will have name set to just the way it is here, but then I'm not writing the actual value, I'm just writing the type of the value. So we have name set to string, okay. Then we have age set to number, and then row set to, now you can see what happened here, row type. Where am I getting this row type from? Here. So you can actually declare a type and still use that type you declared inside an object just to set a particular key. Now this key row is taking the type of row type, but this whole person type object, this is the whole information here. Now you can see if I now assign this type to this object that I created, put semicolon or colon, then put the type, nothing will happen. It will not cry because everything checks out. String, I said name is going to be a string. Name here is string. Age is a number. Age here is number. Row is actor, and then the type of row. You can see it here. And the good advantage of this is with this. Now, if I come here, let me go back to this row type. If I come here, if I remove this producer, if I want to see all the options, that's all the things that I can only assign for this row, remember how to do that control space, right? Click on control space, you're going to see actor, director, producer. One good thing with TypeScript. So let's say you are not on this particular file, you are on another file using this type, but you don't know the actual things that you can use inside this type, right? So after assigning the type to your variable, then on the value part, just put a string, then control space. You will get all the informations that you can only select for this particular variable. Now you can select director, or you can select producer. Control space bar, that's what I'm doing. Or you can select actor. Now anyone I select now will not give me an issue. So that's what is happening here. So since I have set my row here to row type, on this actor here, I can go ahead and clean this, then control space bar. I'll see all those information just from this person here, from this information. Director, that's fine. So if I select another thing outside this, it's going to cry out. So this is how to assign type to an object. Then to do this for an array, in TypeScript, this is how to assign the type for an array. Now I can say I'm going to create, I probably might just go ahead and create another type, right? Or let's say I have a constant of persons. You can see there's S here, there's just the difference. Or can I say crew? I can just call it anything. Film crew. Film crew. Okay. It's equals to, it's going to be an array because it's going to contain all the film crews, all the people, all the crews we have, right? And I'm going to use this person object that I created for it. So for me to like type this array, this is how to type an array. It's either you set it, it's either you say array, then open and close your greater than and less than, right? Then inside you can type whatever I want to type. It can be anything. Now with this, I can say array string. Array string means it's going to only be string inside this array. Now if I copy this, let me just test array string first. Let me use fruits. I'll get back to the object part. Constant fruits. Okay. Let me set it to an empty array first. So, and I want this to be an array of string, right? Put my colon, then I will just type array, then open your greater than less than, then inside just type string. So I'm saying that this fruit is an array of what? String. So the only thing I can put inside this array is a string. Now if I put a string, orange, checks out, right? Another string, apple, checks out. Now if I put another thing aside a string, it's going to cry or shout. Now let me say, let me just put number 20. Once I do that, you can see the red line. If I hover on it, type number is not assignable to type of string. because I've already told this array that it can only contain string, anything I put outside the string is going to shout. Now you can either do this, you can either set it this way, or you can set it this way, string, then open and close the square bracket. So any of this works. Either you say array, your less than string, and then greater than, or you can just say string, open and close the square bracket. Now if I replace this here with string, open and close square brackets as the type, still works. So if I put any other thing aside number, aside the string, it's going to shout. The same thing with every other type that you have. You can actually change the string to number. So I'm saying that fruit is going to be an array of number. Now, if I do, you can see it's already crying because orange is not a number, apple is also not a number. So I need to replace everything here with a number. Same thing with every other data types that you have. So change it back to string. Then back to our film crew. Now my film crew, I want it to contain persons in this particular object. Now because I have declared this person type here, right? You can see I've declared this person type here. I can just set my film crew. After film crew, semicolon, I'll just say array, open and close my less than and greater than. Then inside here, I'm just going to type this same person type that I declared here is a type. Who is inside? So I'm now telling this particular film crew variable that I created that is going to be an array that contains person type, just like this. Okay. You remember, it can be like this or person type, any way you want, right? Person type, then open and close a square bracket. Any way you want to do it is fine. It's just the same thing that I expressed here. So now inside my array that I declared here, I can now write objects because an object. I can now write objects in this format. If I put another thing there, it's going to shout. If I put string here, it's going to shout because person type is not a string, it's an object. So now see where this is advantageous. Now I put my object, open and close a curly braces. Then inside my object, just hit on spacebar. It's going to show you all the things that you can access inside this object. You can see age, name, and role. That's the only thing you can access because that's what we have inside the person type object. Now you can click on name, then set your name, John. Okay. Now you can see it's still crying because it needs all of them. I cannot only put name for a particular object. It needs both age. I make age to be required. Role is also required. So I must put age 30. I must also put role. The role can now be either actor, producer, or director. Let's say the name of this person is the role is director. Now I can go ahead and do the same thing. I'll just copy another one. This person will be Kevin. Kevin is 40. Then Kevin is, let's say, an actor, right? So just like that, you can have other persons maintaining the same format. Okay. So then you can still go ahead and put other informations here. Then anything you put, remember, you must add it on all of them. Okay. So yes, that is how to use arrays. Oh, sorry, how to declare types using TypeScript. Now, is there one more thing I need to indicate? All right, let me just talk about one more thing before we jump into. There's a lot of areas that you can take catch up on TypeScript. Optional in TypeScript. So if you notice, when I was declaring this film crew, if I don't put any key in this object, it's going to cry out, right? But you know that in an array of people, let's say in an array of everyone on this call, currently, right? There's something that appears optional. Okay, there's something that appears optional. Let's use the okay, let's say middle name. Middle name can be optional. If you look at the names we have here, most of us don't have our middle name registered on this, like showing up, right? So middle name can be optional. You can make it optional. Also, yeah, profile picture can also be optional. You can either have profile picture or not. I think I'll use profile picture as example. So then I can create that particular entity or that particular key and then make it optional. Now let me go back to the person type. Remember my person type declaration, comma. Okay, now if you're declaring objects, I don't know, I didn't even mention this. If you're declaring objects, you don't use comma after a declaration, you use semicolon. That's inside type. Remember, inside type. But when you're declaring the objects with the const variable, the let keyword, every that thing, you use a basic comma. But when you're declaring the type, after everyone, name is string, then you can see the semicolon. Instead of comma, it's a semicolon. So after this, I can now have profile, let's say picture. Let me just say picture. Let me say picture is string. Now you can see, okay, it just formatted itself. So it's still the same thing, name, age, role, and then picture. Now immediately I included this picture, you see that this person started shouted right through an error. Same with the film crew. Why? Because picture is now needed. So I have to go to this place and start adding picture. I have to come here, add picture, right? Do the same thing for this first item on this array and also this item to add picture in the objects. But then, what if this picture is not compulsory? Okay, what is this picture is not compulsory? How can we make it optional? There is what we call there's how we use it. We just put question mark. Okay, just put question mark before you put the semicolon of that particular key that you declared. So if I want to make this picture optional, this is where I declare the picture. Before this semicolon here, I'll put question mark. That's all. This is now optional. Optional means it can be available, but it can also not be available. So it does this question mark here before the semicolon, before I now write the type really, which is string. You put question mark. And with that, you can see that persons is no more shout. This person here is no more shouting. Also, the film crew is no more shouting, which means the person can have profile picture. The person can also not have profile picture. So if I go to this person type, comma, if I click, I'll see picture. You can see picture here. Picture is optional, which means I can include it and then put the link to the person's picture, right? HTTPS, whatever the link is, right? So it can exist, it can also not exist. So in my film crew here, let's say I don't have profile picture, but then let's say Kevin has profile picture. I'll include picture. And picture can now contain the link of that particular person's profile picture. So yeah, this is just the basics of how to what TypeScript does and how to use it. You can see that everything here is just JavaScript, but with an extra layer of type declaration, like with an extra layer of syntax, right? And then what we introduce is this type keyword, right? Type keyword is used for declaring for that variable. That's how to go about declaring types. So any question? No question?
So
Copy
it means
this.
you must declare a type before you go on with any logic, Abby.
No, it's not like a must, right? You can still go on with the logic. Then later on, you can declare the type. I cannot even. I must. It's not a must. You're going to have type. In fact, if I remove this type for
Okay.
the film crew, if I remove the type for the film crew, TypeScript will automatically generate a type for it based on what you have given it, based on what you provided as a value. So this film crew, I didn't add any type here currently, right? but TypeScript will automatically generate a type for it. So if you're using this anywhere, it's going to suggest this information for you. Now, if I hover on film crew, you can see the type you declared here. Name, age, role, picture is optional. I didn't even provide anything. It just knows, right? Picture is optional. You can see picture with the question mark is undefined because it's optional. Some can be defined, some cannot be defined. So he has another one, name, age, role, picture with not optional. So it's just saying that this particular film crew can, any object in this film crew can appear in two faces. It can appear in this face where picture is optional, main undefined. It can also appear in this face where picture is, where the person has a picture. So it automatically generates a type for it. So it's not a must. But then it is best to have it, right? So that you not make mistakes trying to introduce something that doesn't exist where it's not supposed to be. So that's just the difference with TypeScript and JavaScript. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, thank you. So, what I want to ask you, once it's like these objects that we have now, sorry, the array, once it automatically introduce a type to you, if you want to change that type, can it still be changed?
Yes, you can still. I mean, just like this, I have the type declared to it. If I want
Just
to change this,
no, if you remove the type now and just do it the plain without giving it a type. You know, you said TypeScript automatically gets a type for it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, now like this one, this array we are having now, array of object now. If you want to change it, let's say this string and everything, if you want to change everything to object or everything to string, it won't throw an error, right?
No, it won't. Yeah, because
That's
it is
because the type
generating the,
was not declared.
yeah, it's generating the type based on the value you provided.
Oh, okay.
You didn't
So I
define
can give
anything.
any
So
value.
yeah, so currently I can go ahead and put any value. I can come here after this, I can put 4. It's not going to cry. 4 is a number. I'm
Oh,
not even
okay.
supposed to have 4 an object. After 4, I can do comma. I can put a string of apple. Or let me say Eshevik. So this is a weird array, very, very weird, because we have objects, we have number, we have Eshevik. Now, if I hover, you can see the array can either be a string, the array can either be a number. You can see the or in between. The array
Yeah.
can be a string. Also, if I hover on it again, the array can be a number because I have a number for there. Also, or the array can be an object with name, age, role, and picture. See the or again here, or the array can be another object with name, age, role, and picture as compulsory.
Okay.
So it's generating the type based on what the
So if you
value you
don't
provide.
define a type, it's just more through writing the plain JavaScript.
Yeah, it's exactly just writing a plain JavaScript. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But since we're inside the TypeScript file, I think let's obey TypeScript since we're inside the TypeScript file. Else, I mean, you might as well create put in .js instead of .ts. But it's good to know this because when you're working with company or industries, this is mostly what they want you to use because you're not the only one that is going to be working on the code base. So it's best to, if you're collaborating with people on the same code base, it's best to use TypeScript so that you can create a convention. You not write this, the person will go ahead and add another thing. So there's just a convention. Then, but if the type is altered, then you know that the type is now altered. Something that's clear, right?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. So let's get to now. Since we know the basic of TypeScript, I would really, really advise us to go and research more. There's more to TypeScript. There's more to TypeScript. Just type TypeScript, right? Just know that TypeScript JavaScript is not something that is strange or entirely new from what you already know. You can still write basic JavaScript inside the TypeScript file. It's just that because you're now in TypeScript, you have the privilege of creating an extra syntax or extra layer of type declaration. So read more on
Sorry, please, I
TypeScript.
have another question.
Okay.
So when you are creating your React app, you know there's a place that suggests are you using plain JavaScript or you are using TypeScript. So when you
Yes.
choose JavaScript, and then on the long run, you now want to switch to TypeScript. Will it work?
Yes, it will, but then it's best to do it early, because just for it to switch, it's just one thing you need to do for it to switch to TypeScript. You just go ahead and change all the just like this one, this React app that is here, this one that I created here. If I want to change everything here to JavaScript, there's actually a log. I think there's a command you have to run. But then the basic thing you need to do is just to change app.js from app.jss to app.tsx, because JSS means JavaScript XML, right? But if you want to move into
Yeah.
TypeScript, it's going to be TypeScript SML. So instead of JS, it's going to be, in fact, everywhere we have sorry, change it to T.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah,
once you just change it to TX, it's automatically starts
it
running
works.
without you
Yeah,
having to.
no, yeah,
Okay.
it start working.
Okay.
But it's
All right.
going to be on a very, very small application. This application is very, very small. If it's a very broad application, my dear, you might end up changing thousands of files, right? So it's best to just switch to TypeScript in the beginning when you're setting up the project. Then if you
Okay.
don't have time to be writing type, just be writing your normal JavaScript. Then probably later you can now include types. But it's good to have that. Just open your mind. Oh, let me just create type for every declaration that I have. That will help you out. So Nafisat, you have had your hand raised a couple of times. Still have question.
No, I've gotten the answer already. Thank you.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. So now let's go ahead and create a React app that has TypeScript. So I will just on my terminal. Remember how to create a React app? Where is it? We are using Vite or Vite. Where is it? Okay, yeah, Vite. So getting started. What are we going to do? Yeah, just this. I think some of us we are copying both the dollar sign too. Yeah, when you click on copy, I think it copies the dollar sign too. Just ignore the dollar sign. Just copy from npm. npm means node package manager. Have that in mind. So I'll click on npm create latest. So let's see. Creating what will I call this? I'll call it React app TS. Okay, TS means TypeScript. Because I already have React app here, so I don't want to create another React app folder. Oh, now I'll choose React. Okay. Now I'm choosing TypeScript. TypeScript is even the first one, so I'll just click OK. Else, I'll just choose JavaScript. Okay, but then I'll stick with TypeScript. That's all, right? So we now have our application here. You can see we have React app TS. I've created everything for us. So there's actually some extra configurations that come with TypeScript. If you look at the one with JavaScript, there is no TS config. Okay, that's one other thing you need to configure, Eshevik. There's a TS config. Let me open this thing very well. You can see the only thing different from this the React app with JavaScript, then this is the React app with TypeScript. There is TS config. Just ignore this file for now, but then you need it. You also have tsconfig.json. You also have tsconfig.node.json. Don't worry, it will still get to have the use case, but it's not like a necessity for now. But it's good to have it when you're using JavaScript, TypeScript, sorry. So now inside my application with TypeScript, if I open the SRC folder, you can see that everything is created in TS instead of JS. The app.ts, the app.app is app.tsx. The main is also main.tsx. You can see TSX means X means XML, right? Extension means we can write HTML elements inside of it. That's just the difference. So if I click on this, you can see we have. Don't worry, yeah. You see one thing about TypeScript, everything just throwing error immediately. Like there's just error everywhere, but it's fine. We'll get over this. Then go back to main.tsx, sorry. You can see just the same thing, basically the same thing, but just that it is TSX. Now, what they tell us to do when we finish installing? Oh my. After it's done, here is it done now. Run cd react app ts. Why? Because I am in Dive Africa and Dive Africa have a lot of files, right? So I bought my script. I need to run it inside the file I created. Now, for me to know everything in Dive Africa, remember what I told us how to check the list of files from command from the terminal. Just type ls. Ls means list. So when I type ls, you can see inside this Dive Africa folder, I have demo.js. You can see demo.js here. I have demo.ts. You can see demo.ts. I also have node.tsx. That's this. I also have React app folder. That then React app TS. So I need to enter inside of React app TS. And how to enter is cd. Cd means change directly. Sorry, I'll keep referencing this because it's good to understand what each of these command means. Cd means change directory. So I'm going to change my directory inside React app TS. Then that I have React app TS. So it's cool. So now let's go ahead and run the dev. So I think the first thing to do is to install npm install. This is to install the packages. Why? Because I don't have node modules here. Once you don't have node modules, it means you need to install the packages. If you check this one, we have node modules. So for this, we don't have it. So let's install it. npm install. It's installing. This will take a while. Please, come on. You can also see that the config here is vite.config.ts. But then when you check on the one with React app, you can see it's .js. So everything is just, all the JS will just change to TS, meaning TypeScript. Okay,
I
while
have a
we wait,
question.
yes, please.
Okay, when we are running it using vanilla JavaScript, these all these things came in JavaScript. So now that you're using TypeScript, why did they not come in TypeScript too? I mean
What is that?
the code inside the app dot CSS, because I saw it train an error because it was written in JavaScript.
Yeah, yes, because I'm not installed. I didn't install anything. I've not installed the packages. So you can see that React, if I hover on this React error, it's saying cannot find module React or its corresponding type declarations. So it doesn't know what that file is because the package has not been installed. So that's what this particular install will fix for us. So
Oh,
with the node
okay.
module, the errors will clear. They will now face other errors.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's in JavaScript, I'm not sure. Hey, you can see the error is gone because we now have node modules installed. That's one thing with TypeScript. Like it checks everything strictly, checks out everything, make sure that, hey, I don't know what React is. Why am I importing? So now after installing node modules, it now recognizes what React is because we now have the package. If you check node modules, you're going to see React as a folder. If you go to remember, you're not supposed to touch this folder at all, but just for wait, what? Yeah, you can see React here. There is now React. Okay, so you recognize what React is inside the node modules and every other thing that comes with it. So if I run this npm, how do you run it? Npm run dev, right? But to get more context, go to package.json. Remember what I told us about the scripts. These are the things you run. Yeah. So npm run dev. Dev means Vite. Dev will run the Vite application. Build, we build it locally. Still get to this, right? Preview and length. Length is for ES length. Then the dependency is React and React DOM. Dev dependency is just other extra installations, both the TypeScript installations and the application, just for developmental purpose. Sorry, I'm having hiccup. Come in. Okay, so if I run dev, that's npm run. Yeah, it's going to start up. If you visit this link, open the application for you. Sorry, so sorry. This is the application now running, right? So remember, don't terminate it. This trash can here means terminating the terminal. Just hide it. This is just to hide panel. This will still be running in the background. Okay, now we have our application. Let's clear the app.tsx. I don't need anything here. Now everything should just go away. I don't need anything. Okay, just empty. Let me just type something so we'll know where we are. Then in our main dots, okay, I think everything here is okay. Then in my app dot, I don't need this file. Delete app.css. In my assets, do I need assets? No. Delete assets. I just want to create a fresh project from start. So back, refresh. I'm supposed to see my hello. Why am I not seeing my hello? Oh, I have app.css. It's not supposed to be here. I should see my hello now. Yeah, this is my hello here. Why is it here? Go back to my CSS. Nah, everything here go away. My CSS to be empty. Okay, yeah, this is my hello now. Everything is back to default. Okay, now this is just, there is nothing different from JSS and TSS. It's just that it is now TSS extended extension, right? So you can go ahead and write TypeScript code and declarations inside this. So now let's talk about routing. Okay, if you're creating a full-blown application, I have not done that because everything I've just been creating here is just just this with porting, fetch, and all that. No, but then if you're working on a full-blown application, there are other components and other things that you need to respect, right? Not most you're going to respect, but it is advised to follow this convention so that you're just going to have a peace of mind writing your code. Okay, and this is first of all how you structure your folders. Just ignore everything that is outside the SRC. Let's focus on inside the SRC. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're creating an application, a website or web application, or anything entirely, right? You need components, right? So create a components folder. Just create a code folder called components. Everything is inside our CSS, sorry, inside our SRC. Components. So this component is where we're going to store all the components that we're going to be using in every other areas of the application, both button, input, card, modal, that's pop-up or tooltip and all those things. What are they? There's a lot of them. Link, drop down, tabs and everything. All those things that are just a particular area of application, but for some reason we need it on other parts of the application. We'll store them inside the components. Okay. Now remember, if you are creating, when we are doing JavaScript, when we are doing bare JavaScript inside the HTML part, right? Yeah, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, right? When we haven't started using library. We were creating HTMLs, right? We have multiple HTML. We had contact.html, we have about.html, we also have index.html. That's the root HTML, the first one the user is supposed to see. So you can see if you want to create other pages of an application using vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? You have to create multiple HTMLs, right? I want to create for home page. I'm going to create home.html. I want to create for about. I'm going to create about.html. I want to create for another page. I'm going to create that page.html, right? But then if you're using a library, you're not going to do that. Remember, everything is being injected inside only one HTML file, which is this guy here, index.html. This is where everything is being injected. Okay, so which means somehow, there's going to be a way to navigate from one particular page to another page in React library. So we're going to talk about that. We call that React router or routing. Okay. And advisable, the best thing to do is to create another folder inside your SRC. Create another folder called pages. You can see I'm giving it a name that describes what the content of that folder is going to be. It can be pages, it can be screens, right? You can either call it pages or screens, all right? But for this scenario, I'll just call it pages. So it is just going to be the pages in this page, in this particular application, right? So, yeah, all my pages will go inside the pages folder. All my components will go inside the components folder. Then I just need one more thing. I want to create styles. All right. So all my styles will go inside this folder. First thing, drag this box where they that is here, sorry. Then inside styles.css. But after doing that, I have to go to my main.js and change the import direction. Now it's inside styles. So I'm going to, first of all, references styles, then slash index.css. You can see that any mistake I make, he's going to draw a red line. That's one good thing with TypeScript. Now there is just CS. It's telling me, what am I writing? I'm not seeing index.cs inside this file. So I need to complete it with another S, making it CSS. Okay, so when I save, yeah, nothing is happening now. So let's say I have multiple pages. Inside my pages, I have login. So my login is going to be login.tsx. We're in TypeScript zone. So it's going to be T. So inside my login page, I'm going to have import my login. Remember how to do that short thing I told us, RAFCE. Then we have login, okay? So I'll call this my login page. Then after login, I'll create another file called the dashboard.tsx. Yeah, so I have dashboard.tsx, okay? All right. Then let me create just one more page, please. This page can be, let's say this page is settings dot tsx. Then do my RAFCE, remember. So I'm going to call this, I call this settings page. Okay. So dashboard, settings, and every other thing. So I have my login. So inside my pages, I have 3 pages for now. Login, dashboard, and settings. Can be more depending on what you're building. That's everything inside my pages folder. Okay. Now when I go to my app folder, how can I listen to all these pages? In fact, how can I render all these pages? Because I'm just thinking, I mean, I don't have HTML I don't have settings.html, I don't have dashboard.html, I don't have login.html. So how can I do this? First, let's render our login. You just be sure that I'm just writing rubbish. Sorry. Okay, what is happening here? Remember the empty fragment that I talked about? That's what it's just. So I have my login. So you can see I have IntelliSense that is even telling me where it is. This IntelliSense is just, since I tap login, it already knows that I have a login file. So I'll just click on this particular guy here. Just click, it's going to import it automatically for you. You have to love TypeScript. So just import it. You see, this login is imported from /pages. Then inside pages, we have login. Now I'm back. I'm going to see login page. Let me just zoom in. Okay. I have login page. Hey. Let me just do one more thing. I want to clear all the default styles that came from. Remember how to do that. Padding 0, margin 0, and then box sizing, set it to border box. This will ensure that our box model is proper or up to par. All right. So this is our login page. Now inside my login page, I want to be able to see. I want to do like on my search bar or the URL bar. If I do slash dashboard, I should see slash there. If I hit it now, nothing is going to happen. It's still going to show me login page because that's the only thing we're rendering. Then I also want, if I do slash settings, just the normal navigation, right? I want to see settings page. Now, for us to do this routing, there's something we call React Router. It's a package that we need to install. React Router. All right. A minute. Right. Okay. All right. So React Router. So with this React Router, we can successfully install. It's actually React Router, not React Router done. Just let's check React Router. This package simply re-exports everything from it to smooth the upgrade path. Also, you can change all your imports and remove it from. Just let's just type React Router. Hope you remember this platform. This is npm, the package, the website that displays all the packages that you can make use of for installing your application. Right? It's good to know that this is, you can actually make research on a particular application, get more context on how to use it. Okay. So first of all, what does it say? React Router. What is React Router? Is the primary package in the React Router project. Come on, give me a better description. So this package is what we use in navigating between a particular page to another page using React. So first of all, install it. Copy this npm I React Router. At the I there means install. So remember, it's not a must you're going to stop your server. You can create another terminal, right? Probably I don't want to interrupt the terminal. I can create another one. So say plus icon here, or just click on the plus icon. Just click on it. It's going to create another terminal for you. So this first one is the one that have a local server. The second one is new terminal. I can paste what I have here. npm I React Router. Then let's go to our package.json. You can see that in our dependency, we have React and React DOM. Oh, sorry. I actually installed this. This mistake might come in handy. I'm sorry. See, I am in Dive Africa. I'm supposed to be inside React App TS. So I need to change directory again. CD React App TS. That's where I want to install this. Now, before I even go ahead and install, you can see our dependencies. Our dependencies have obviously the basic two information, right? That's the first two packages, React. Second package is React DOM, right? These are just the two packages that React needs to actually carry out the basic rendering and everything. But the every other package you now go ahead and add. If I install React Router, it's going to add it here. You can see I now have React Router here. So if you continue installing other packages, they'll be added inside this dependency object. So at times you can even go ahead and see up to 10 to 15 packages here or more, depending on what the application requires. So yeah, we can have that. So you can see we have React Router now. So let's go ahead and make use of it, right? So how do we use React Router? I want to show us the documentation. A minute. I'm just going to show us where is, I want to pull up. Oh, I'm not even here. You can see this is their page on npm. You can see the repository. You can click on the repository, or you can, at times they include their home page here. Click on the repository. Just scroll down to this part. Click on get started. I need something that will give me information. No. Okay, there's actually a link here. See the link here by the right. Then just click on docs. That's what we're after. Installation. We have installed it. Oh, we have installed it. So routing. Okay, I'm not sure. This is the documentation actually. So you know what? I have another documentation, but this one is from W3 schools. So W3 schools install. Ignore this. They're no more using DOM. They're using React Router now. So that's what you need. Excuse, just a minute. Sorry. Love. Okay. So yeah. All right. No, now in this is just you telling us folder structure. Folder structure to create an application with multiple pages routes. Let's first start with the file structure. Within the SRC folder, we create a folder named pages. Just like I said, it can be pages, it can be screens, but anything that describes that these are the pages or screens of your application, then these are the pages they are using. Each file will contain a very basic okay. Then, okay, then in your app.jsx, right, import browse router. So everything is inside your app. That's where you're doing it, okay? So back to my project. Go to the app. This app is the root project before main.tss. So that's where we are going to be making all the configurations, right? So in the app.tsx, you need what? To import browse router. Can type it out. Browse router. This. And close it. Okay. That's what I did here. Import browse router from React router DOM. This is the first parent component that will wrap all your routers, right? So after that, you're going to import another thing, routes with S, routes. So this browse router, sorry, will just make it possible for you to be able to browse between routes, right? But then this next parent, just come here, comma after browse router, comma, routes with S. Okay. Now since we have it here, then back, create your component. Now these routes, everything is going to be inside browser router. Then you have your routes. Then this will now contain all the routes, all the pages, login page, dashboard page, and the settings page, and every other thing that you want to include, right? So now how can you do it? You need another, the third one, the third and the final one actually. Just route. I need to know the difference between all these. First one is browse router. You wrap it, okay, open and close it as an element. Second one is routes, okay, you have your routes, open and close your routes with S. Then next one is routes without S. So this route is going to contain the particular page and the link to that page, right? So to do this is a self-closing tag. It can actually be, it's not much, it can also be a tag that accepts children. So now let's see the two important things we need. There are two required things we need. The first one is the path. Okay, can type out paths, more like an attribute, path. So this path will contain the path where that page is going to be. Okay, this page is our root page, so it's going to be just slash. That's what I'm giving it for now. Then the next one is element. So the element is going to contain the actual component itself that you want to be rendered anytime the user goes to slash, just the basic, just that root route bar. Anytime they go to the root route, what component do you want to display to the user? That's when you now import what you want to use. So in this case, I want to use login. So I'm going to import login from page.js page slash this here, then declare it as a component. You can see just this. First thing is the path, next thing is the element. The element contains the actual page itself. Now, when I go back, if I refresh, I'm in slash settings, go back, enter. Yeah, you can see we're in login page because that's the root one. Slash means the root page. Okay. Now the next page is dashboard. Okay. Now let me create another one for dashboard. After this, I'm going to have another route. Yeah. Then close it. First thing we need is what? Path. Okay. Path is going to be slash what? Dashboard. All right. I want whenever I go to slash dashboard, what do I want to display to the user? What's the element I want to display to the user? Then open and close. What are we going to do? We are going to import the dashboard page. Exactly. Then after doing that, inside this curly braces here, to declare it. Now, when I go to slash dashboard, I want to see dashboard page. So on my URL, if I do slash dashboard, enter, I see dashboard. So for you to see if it's working, go to dashboard. You can change anything. You can put dashboard page. If you go back, you're going to see with page. I can actually put another thing. I can say hi. Yeah, you can see I'm now in dashboard page. So I remove this. I want to go back to the login page. Oh, still stay in the dashboard page, please. How bad. You're in dashboard, okay? Then back to our app.csx. We need one more page, right? Settings. Okay. Create your route again. Remember, this route doesn't have S. So the first thing we need is path. Okay. Path is going to be slash what? Settings. All right. Then what is the element? The element is going to be, then here after dashboard, I will import settings from page slash settings. Then inside the elements, I'm going to have my elements settings, then close it out. Okay. So when I go to slash settings, I want to see settings page. Now, if I go to slash settings, enter, this is now settings page. Okay. Then there's one more thing. If you want to do it in a way that most of the times the user might just enter something that they route. No, sometimes the user might just make mistake and enter a route that doesn't exist. Let's say the user enters which route doesn't exist here currently. Anything aside slash login, sorry, dashboard and settings currently is not registered. So let's say I have a page like okay, let's say we have a page like a user mistakenly just entered about share, right? And then click on enter. You see everything is blank. Now there is something as a developer you need to account for when something exists and when the user makes a mistake. You need to account for every other scenarios that can happen, and this is one of them, right? Now, how can we tell the user that this particular page doesn't exist? Okay. Now, there's how to do it. Let's create a page. Oh yeah, let's not create a page. We're going to do that, but let's do it basic here. So we have route, capital R, route, close. Okay. Then you have your words part. That's the first thing. But now this part, this part will not have slash or anything because you don't know the exact error or exact particular route the user is going to enter. So for you to listen to every other route that doesn't exist or that you didn't account for, you use what? Asterisk. You use what? Asterisk. With this asterisk, you're not telling the you're not telling the application if the user enters or mistakenly visit any other route that is not dashboard settings or the basic or the root route. This is what I want to show to them. So here, I will now have an element. In here, I can actually write something. I can write a tag. Let me write a p tag. Just close it, please. Then I'll say not found. Let it be say not found for now. Okay. So now, whenever the user enters another route that doesn't exist, they should see not found. If I go back, I'm going to see not found. Now, if I enter another thing, let me just type anything randomly, just at random. Enter, not found. Okay. So you can now go ahead and style this page just to look like a page that is more descriptive to the user that this page doesn't exist. Click here to go back to the home page or anything. So yeah, that is it. So back to our dashboard. Yeah, you can see our dashboard is back. So yeah, this is how to successfully link pages. You can actually go ahead and create this page. I can, under my pages, let me create a page that is not, this page is not found.csx, so that I can go ahead and restyle it, right? Give it more friendly UI view. So yeah, not found. Yeah, let's just have this. Then back in my app.css, I'm going to import not found. Then instead of having this p tag here, I'm going to have this. Yeah, not found. Then when you go back, type anything entirely, you're going to see not found. All right. So yes, any question about how to route? Oh, it's like we got a hang of it. Okay, so Israel. Yes, Israel, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. John.
Good
Sorry,
evening.
my challenge is just that my VS Code is not giving me this RAFC shortcut
Oh,
for me
okay.
to set up my React page.
Are you sure? It doesn't. RAFCE.
Yes.
You don't see, it doesn't show up this IntelliSense here.
No.
Like when you type, okay. All right, I think there's
It
something
gives
you need
me
to,
this readable, this other one, readable stream. That is the only one it gives to me.
oh, you
Default
see, but
controller.
you don't see the React arrow function, this.
No.
All right, I think there's an extension you need to, let me see. ES7 plus React Redux React Native snippets. Let's see. ES. So I'm going to say something related to that. I think it has something to do with the extension. I've forgotten. Let me check my installed. These are installed. Yes, install this extension. If you're not seeing it, go to your extensions. This is how to locate and see the extensions here. If you hover on it for a long time, you're going to see this information that pops up by the right. So click on extension. Look for this particular.
Okay.
Yeah. So just
Yes.
type in. Yeah. ES7 plus React slash Redux slash React Native snippets. If I zoom out, you see more information to it. Look for it. It currently has 14 million downloads. So just click on install. I've already installed it. That's why it's showing me on install. Click on install. Then I think after that you should have those stuff should happen. Should it? Do that first. Then let me know if that fixes it. Let me see if there's another one. Also install ESLint. But ESLint is not what might be causing it, but you need it. Install Prettier. Let me see if this is. I think it has to do with extension. I'll also install this JavaScript code snippet. Install this too. You guys can also check this from your end. Yeah. But I think this okay, I don't know. But just install this once I told you, then try and let me know. Okay, so yeah, do that. Let me know if that fixes the issue for you. Okay. What's the time? All right. So I think today this will be the end of it for today. Honestly, there's more. There's still more that I want us to talk about. I want us to do authentication. You know, to even find time to build a full-blown application, that's just the thing. Because I want to build an application that have login. You click on login, you're able to log in and go to the dashboard. And so with this route, we will gently transition into that section. So if you guys can still spare me time, probably not today, probably on Saturday or any other time within the week, you can still come back and then continue from there. So I want to do authentication. In fact, let's talk about this before we go. All right. So there is authentication, and then there is authorization. Okay. Authentication and authorization. What is authentication? So authentication is, first, let me just give us explanation before I jump into this chart that I have here. Authentication is more like you logging in inside an application. If you want to log inside an application, you're going to provide Israel. Did I answer your question, Israel? Israel, are you still there? Yeah. Okay. Nice. So authentication is you more like inputting your information to log in inside an application, right? The application you go to, you put your information, then click, it now takes you in. So that is authentication. You are being authenticated. And that is just, that validates you to use the application. Once you pass that state, it validates you to use the application. Then the authorization now, sorry, is it just mute your mic? Yeah, thanks. So the authorization will now give you access to some things that you can use. Okay, let me use this classroom, for example. Not this particular, the classroom, the Google Classroom where we submit our assignments. All right. Now, if you go to the Google Classroom, you have done the authentication part. That's you logging in with your Google account. Now, there's an authorization part. What is the authorization part? There are some things that you have access to do inside the application. Now, you are done with authenticating. You have logged in. You have verified that the Google Classroom have verified that you can actually go ahead and use the application. Then inside the Google Classroom, there are some things that you as a user have access to. There are some other things that you don't have access to. You have access to submit an assignment, turn in an assignment, right? But you don't have access to create an assignment, do you? No. I have access to create an assignment. That's authorization. So when you, and those authorizations are based on the identity of the person that is logged in, or the identity of the person that is in the application. I go to which application will I use, for example, now? Think. I don't know, but I think Google Classroom is the closest thing that we have interacted with that I can give an example of. So it's just that access that I give the user when they are now inside the application, when they are now done with authentication, when they are now done with logging in. So authentication, let me go back to the chart. Authentication versus authorization. Authentication, one, verifying a user's identity before giving them permission to access a system, account, or file. Logging in, that's the definition. Then authorization definition, verifying a user's access level to a system, account, or a file. Access level, this is after they have done logging in. That's authorization. Purpose, to confirm the user's identity and prevent unauthorized access, right? You don't want any person that doesn't have access to this application to have some information. That's why you are logging in at the first place. In fact, that's why you as a front-end developer is going to create a medium where whoever is visiting this application is going to log in before they proceed. So you are confirming that this person has the particular identity to even go ahead and enter this application, right? Then the purpose for authorization is to ensure that users can only access resources that they are allowed to. In the Google Classroom, you are not allowed to create assignments. You are only allowed to turn in assignments. That is the authorization that you have inside the Google Classroom application. All right. Also let's use Slack, for example. In Slack, you are not allowed to create channels. Is the only admin that's allowed to create channels. I mean, all of us are inside the same Slack channel. All of us are inside the same Slack account, right? But then for some reason, because of the identity that you have inside the application, there are some things that you can do. There's also some things that you cannot do. But then probably some other person have access to do it. So that's that purpose part, to ensure that users can only access resources that they are allowed to. Process compares user credentials with stored data. So the authentication, if I am logging in, what happens? It carries the information of the person, goes to the backend, check, does Eshevik exist in the backend, right? That means has this person gone through the onboarding process that we made possible? Okay. Now, if this person has gone through, if this person is now registered, go ahead and log the person in. That's the process. Compare user credentials with store data. If you input your email and password, it takes the backend, checks, is this person a valid user in this particular platform? So now when you now go to authorization, what's the process for authorization? Grants or denies access based on role and permission. Roles and permission, just like I was doing an example here. I was doing where is this guy again? My demo.ts. TS. I have persons, and these persons have roles, and the roles is director, producer, actor. Now, if this is a platform, there are some access that will be restricted based on the person's role. Obviously, director will have all the access. Actor will only have the access to read the script. Producer will have access to do some other things. Okay. So that's the rule there. Well, it's not going to be, it's not much they're going to give the variable name rule. I'm just telling us what role based means. Just because of the role of the person in the application, these are the permissions the person have. That's the process. Then the methods: username, password, OTP, security questions, right? All those things you do when you're logging in. Then methods for authorization is just role-based access control, RBAC. You're going to be seeing this often going forward. RBAC means role-based access control. Just read meaning into the acronym. Role-based access and then control permissions. So this is just theoretical part. There is more to the practicality, the implementations. And then it's also good to identify when you're authenticating and then when you're authorizing. So probably in our next class, we'll dive into this deeply. And then Miriam asks, is Node.js, is it page or routing or app routing that is better? Please go with app. Okay. Think app. Am I correct? App, right? App routing is better. Now, I'm going to quickly install the Next.js application because most of us saw it. Then it looks like we have not done Next.js. So why am I doing Next.js? So I'll just quickly do this, then we'll call it a day. Get started. This is Next.js, right? It's also a JavaScript library, just like Vite or Vite, okay? And they are all built on React.js. All of them are children of React. I think that's the best way to put it. Then just go to installations. Let me zoom in so you can see everything. Installations, this is how to install it. npx create app latest, right? Just going to quickly do this so we can see this in action. I'll clear everywhere. Then to set up Next.js, just type the command that you copied. npx create next app latest. Enter. Just enter. What is your project name? What will I call my project name? Next.js app, right? No, there's no need for the .js. Next.js app. I'm going to use TypeScript, so I'm going to put TS. Would you like to use TypeScript? No. Yes, you can see yes is selected. If you want to select no, you can just move your arrow right and left. But I'm choosing yes. Yes, I want to use TypeScript. ESLint, yes. Tailwind CSS. I left Tailwind CSS and the capstones for some reason. I think I will just go ahead and allow it here. Or should I set it to no? Let me just set it to no for now. Probably when we're talking about Tailwind CSS, CSS, we're going for. Let me select no for now. Yes, everything should be yes. Yeah, you can see. Would you like to use app router? So that answers your question, Miriam. I mean, anyone you want, you can still go ahead and use page router, but then they introduce app router for a reason. Okay, it solves some issues and even makes it easier, right? So yeah, choose yes for app router. Turbo pack, just everything, just click, just enter, let it set up the default. Setting it up for us. What's the time? Oh, 5 minutes past 10 o'clock. Okay. This shouldn't take time. This shouldn't take time. Why is it? All right. This is okay. I think this is just installing body. Yeah, it's installing the dependencies for us. Install dependencies done. Is now installing the dev dependencies. That's the development dependencies. What's the difference between dependencies and dev dependencies? Dependencies are what is actually being used or what controls the app both on the local when you're developing it and also when you deployed it. But dev dependencies are only the dependencies that you can use locally. So when you are publishing this application, all these dev dependencies will not be registered on the where you're deploying the application. Probably you want to now deploy it and host the link, right? And share the link with your clients or colleagues or any other people, right? All the packages and dev dependencies will not be registered. So that's just the difference. Dev dependency help you to code properly locally. All right, so while this is installing, it's actually installing our node modules. So this is how Next.js application looks like. Okay, it's nothing much different from Vite. Yeah, we still have the node modules, obviously. We have the public, yes, public where we are going to put our logos, SVGs. We are going to talk about SVG later on. We have our SRC, obviously. This is SRC where everything is being stored. Then we have ESLint, we have all these things. Every other thing here, don't touch it, don't worry. Okay. Let's just focus on what is inside the SRC, obviously. So now inside the SRC, we have an app folder. But then for us to see this, well, I'm going to create another folder here. Let me call this folder components, obviously, because we'll be needing it. Now inside the SRC folder, you can see I have app, I have components. Now, one good thing about Next.js is I don't have to go about and start installing browse router and all those things and start setting up the routes and connecting the route to the particular element that I want to show and the path and everything. No, I don't need to do all those things. Right? That's one good thing about Next.js. Also, it makes it possible for you to be able to write server-side code. I'll talk more on that later. So now inside the app.js, inside the app folder, sorry, this is where your pages are going to be. So any page you want here, you can see the root page is going to be outside here. Then the layout is just what is wrapping this is where our HTML is safe. There's no index or HTML here. That's the difference between Next.js and Python. But you can see it's still using React based. You can see it's still imported from React. It's why am I not saying React? Well, obviously it's still using React. Still just the same thing, the way you write Vite or React. That's how you write in Next.js. But then the convention is different. Now, if I start this application, I'll just go ahead and start it. Remember, I have to cd inside what's the name of this application? Next.js -app -ts. Then if I enter, how do I start this application? Go to package.json. There, just be sure. You can see you started with dev, next dev. Okay, start with dev. So as usual, npm run dev, enter. It's going to start this out for us. We are going to see the link shortly. Okay, so this is the local link. Open this link. That's this local host port 3000. So if I go about and open the link, yep, this is it. It's zoomed in. That's why if I zoom out, this is how it is. Okay, this is by default everything. So all these things you can see them inside the app. Then if you go to page.tss, that's where you're going to see this get started. See get started editing. Is get started editing here. So that's where everything is stored. Now to take it back to scratch, you know what to do. Delete everything. I don't need it. I don't need it. Delete. Delete. I'll just have a p tag here. Probably just say hello. I am home page. Okay. So that's for the home page. All right. So if I go back, I'm going to see hello. I'm home. Yeah, this is supposed to be white background. Oh, delete this person. Delete this guy. No, I don't need it. Globals everything here away. My globals does ACSS. Yeah. Now I'm back. Okay. I think I need to reset everything. Asterisk. Padding 0. Margin 0. Then box size in border box. Okay. Everything has reset. You can see here. This says I am homepage. Now this icon that is here, this next icon that is here, don't worry, is part of the debugging process for AJS. It only shows locally. Okay. Now if I click here, it's just going to, if I have any issue, it's going to show the red icon here. Then I'll click and then find the issue. That's one good thing about AJS. It makes it easier to debug by showing you the errors even while you are coding. Well, let's ignore this icon for now and then look at the text here. So now to create page, I don't need to start installing React Router, everything. This is how to create page, another page in Next.js. Inside my app folder, make sure you're inside the app folder. Create the folder, another folder inside app folder. Let's say I want to create a page called sign up or register. Let's say register, a page where the users will go ahead and register. I'll create a folder called register. Just here, I'm going to create, no, a folder, sorry. Now this folder, I'm going to call it register, right? That's the name of this folder. Then inside this folder, I'll create page.tsx. Then on my page, I'll do my REFC. This page, I'll just give this thing capital. What is this? Register page. So this is all I need to do just to create another page called register. So now if I go to copy this, go to my browser, if I say /register, you're going to see register page. So you can see this here just makes it easier. You don't need to go ahead and start installing, setting up, giving everything a route and giving it elements. Now, if you need another page here, let's say I need another page called profile. Come here, create another folder called profile. All right. Then inside the profile, create page.txs. Remember, you must create this page inside that folder so that it's going to reference whatever is inside that page component. Then my RAFCE. Then this is profile. That's what I called it, right? Profile page. Okay. Now, if I now do /profile, that's exactly the same name I gave the folder. I should see profile page. That's this text I wrote here. Then instead of /register, if I do /profile, you can see profile page. So that's just the difference between Next.js and Byte. There is more to Next.js, yeah. There's the use case of the layout, the server-side code, and every other thing. But this is just a brief intro on the difference between Next.js and Byte. All right, so this brings today's class to an end. If you have any other question that you'd like to ask before we call it a day, please shoot. Go ahead and ask your question. Israel.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Young. That the issue has been resolved. I've installed the extensions and it's now working properly.
It's working
So,
now, right?
yes.
Good.
So, in the case of, I just want to seek a clarification. In the case of a Byte, we have to import the files into the app.js. But in the case of this Next.js, it's like you are not importing the files.
Yeah, you're not importing anything. You just, yeah. So that any page, if this is just pages. So if you want to create any other page, just create the folder of the page. Then inside that folder, create page.tsx, sorry. Then your components can now be outside. Your styles can still be outside. Every other thing can be outside. But this app, just treat it for where your pages are. Just like we have in Bytes. I have every component outside, then inside my pages, I have this. So just that's just the difference. You get it, right?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? All right. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for staying this long. This is, what time is it? 16 past 10. That's too much to ask from you guys, but I appreciate you for staying. And I hope today's class you were able to learn one or two. And then, as usual, if you have any problem, any issue at all, you know my name on Slack, DM me. Let's look into it and see where to go about it. And then for a capstone project, please focus on the UI, all right? Focus on the UI implementation. I will be more satisfied if you did a good job on the UI. Then we'll now walk through on how to start going about the logic, API implement. Oh, Jairus, I even said I'm going to do CAT implementation. Ah, time didn't allow us, but I would love to do that in the next class. And if the next class is too far, I can come up with something, then send to you on your DM, give you more context. Okay. So yeah, please let's focus on the UI. Please focus on the UI. Implement the UI out first. Make sure your code base is neat, because I will judge on that too, right? Make sure you're writing a neat code base. You're not writing some spaghetti for me, or just it's jargons, right? Just make sure your code base is neat so that you visiting it few months or after like a couple of months could still be able to understand what you did, why you did it, and the reason behind every other thing. So yeah, I guess that's all right. Is it possible you treat database with us? No, no. I would like this class to be strictly front end. Okay. Miriam, since you are you have interest to full stack, do you? Because it's fine. It's actually fine to be able to do front end and back end. But me, I am a specialist. I would like to focus on one, be good at one. There's a lot to more to. Yeah. Mobile dev is actually okay. I'm also a mobile developer. So if you understand web and how to code applications on the web with React, it is easy to migrate to mobile. It's just that things are a little bit different. Just like you move from JavaScript to TypeScript, just one or two changes here. Don't worry. If you're moving from web to mobile, just one or two changes, but then you need to be conscious that, oh, I am on mobile. This is how to write mobile. I am on web. This is how to write web. All right. With Git push, we are just like normal HTML. Yes. For React, yeah, you push React just like normal HTML. Yes. Initialize your Git, then do the origin, add commit, and then push. Git add, git commit, the message and then git push. Yeah, before you push, remove the env. I'm not sure we haven't talked about how to go ahead and use env. And also make sure that your node modulus is not among what you're pushing, please. The node modulus folder is a very, very large file, and Git and GitHub will frown at any attempts to push those folders to their GitHub servers, because if not, hell, it's a very, very large file. That's what I would say. All right. With no further ado, we are going to call it a day. Thank you, everyone.